Welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. So The Old Guard is a Netflix action film starring Charlize Theron and directed by Gina Prince-Bythewood, and it's based upon a comic book by Greg Rucka and illustrated by Leonardo Fernandez. And so this is a movie that I was really excited to see ever since I saw the really awesome trailer. And so did it live up to that? Well, let's go ahead and find out. And so the general story is Charlize Theron is this person named Andy, and she leads a group of immortals who's lived throughout time battling a lot of people and pretty much helping so many people throughout the process and killing a lot of baddies. And so that's the primary role that they have. And then out of this, there is this brand new immortal. Her name is Now, and it's played by KiKi Layne. And she comes into this group just unexpectedly. And so you have this whole story of these immortals fighting baddies, and now you have this brand new immortal who's basically a fish out of water. And on top of that mix, you have this evil corporation who wants to use their immortal abilities. And so getting to the things that I really enjoyed about this film is the overall world building. This world that was created by Greg Rucka and Leonardo Fernandez is a really fascinating world. Just going through the different centuries, eras, millennia that these immortals have lived, and really looking at how this affects them as people and how they've affected the world in general. I find this entire world building so interesting, and it adds a lot of depth to it. And whenever you are watching this, you constantly want to know more about their past history, because throughout the entire movie they give you little pieces of that along with some really great flashbacks. And at the same time, as you are watching this more and more, you just get even more curious about what the entire world is about and really where these characters came from and how they've lived throughout the many years on Earth. And so I feel like that is the best aspect of this movie, is this world building. And thankfully, Greg Rucka, who co-created this entire comic book series, also wrote the screenplay for the movie. And so I've never read the comic book before, but I really feel that this is probably a very faithful adaptation to his original creations. So that is the first thing that I really enjoyed, is this world building. And then the second thing is obviously the action. Now, the director Gina Prince-Bythewood, she's not really known as an action director. Her most famous movie is Love and Basketball. However, the way that she handled the action in here is just really good. I gotta give her a lot of thumbs up for it, especially considering that she's not a Michael Bay type director. And so the action in this film, it is brutal, it is fast, and I would say there are definitely some quick cuts, but overall the action in this is really exhilarating. And when it comes really fast and hard, and there's action littered throughout this entire movie. And so it's not one of those movies where they show you the best action scenes in a trailer, and then whenever you're watching a movie, there's really no action. So there is a lot of action here, and I really love the fact how they meld in all the the old historical weapons that these immortals have probably used throughout the years in with modern technology. So they're using things like axes, swords, and that's just so cool how that's all combined into it. And I really found that the overall choreography was very believable, especially with Charlize Theron, because she's definitely done other action movies. But I think everyone overall, the action and choreography just look really good. And if you are coming for action, then this movie has it. And then another thing that I enjoyed going along with the whole world building is the characters themselves. The four main immortals is where you get a lot of the backstory, where KiKi Layne's character is more of like, kind of showing you, the audience, through her eyes. So maybe if they do get another sequel to this, then we're going to learn more about Now and, how that all goes in with the other immortals. But since these immortals have lived so long, they have such a rich history. And, going back to the flashbacks, I just wanted to see more of that. I wanted to learn more about where these characters came from, how they live, how they died, and all the other people that they've interacted with and their importance to history. So that's going to be a really interesting thing. And I found like everybody from Charlize Theron to KiKi Layne to all the other actors, I don't really know all of their names, really great. And also Chiwetel LG4 is also in this movie, although he's not used as much as I would like, but it's mainly focused on these four characters initially, and they did a great job of that. I just really am invested in these characters, and I definitely want to learn more about them. And then the final thing that I really enjoyed about this movie is they really do take the time to explore this whole idea of being immortal. So this is something that's been done many times before, and a lot of times I'm thinking of things like Highlander. But in this case, it really takes a more realistic approach to what it means to be immortal, the good, the bad, what you lose out of it, what you gain. All of those things together, it just adds to this whole world building, adds to the characters, and it just makes it much, much deeper than you would expect out of a blockbuster action movie, which is really what I feel this is. And so those are the main things that I really liked about this movie. For serious YouTubers, check out TubeBuddy, the premier tool news at geekoutdoors.com. Get more done today by checking out the affiliate link in the description area below. So getting into the things that I didn't like as much, besides this whole world building and the main immortal characters, everything else is very basic, cookie cutter cliche. There's this evil corporation with this guy who kind of looks like Mark Zuckerberg, who wants to use their immortality to basically make a ton of money, rule the world, and I guess help himself. He sees it as a way to help other people, but really it's just a very standard villain that you don't really care about. And the overall story itself, outside of the mortals, it is very predictable. And so if you're coming in here looking for a really different type of story besides this whole Immortal Mercenaries, then you won't really get it here. And besides the very basic plot, at least for me, I really enjoyed everything else about this movie because it really delivers on what I thought it would, mainly it being a blockbuster action film that isn't playing in theaters but is instead streaming to you on Netflix. And I really feel everybody involved with this did a great job, and I really hope that there's going to be other sequels to this world, which I think there will be, because I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this. And so that is my review of The Old Guard. So if you're looking for a fun blockbuster action film, then this movie delivers. And on top of that, it has a really cool world that I can't wait to revisit. So if you did have any thoughts in this movie, be sure to leave that in the comments area below. And if you wanted to see more of my sci-fi action movie reviews, I do have a playlist. I'll leave that in the description as well. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. Hey geeks, if you are a creative geek like me and you wanted to learn how to create content on YouTube and other places on the internet, then check out my Go Content Creators group, where you'll get access to additional videos and content for all the creative geeks out there. And the best part of it is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and sign up for my Go Content Creators group. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side.